Moving on, the Faction Master Invitational. Today we've got the XMT legend Phoenix King facing off against Spotify here, and let's take a look at the builds. We're going to start with this Nurgle build because I think it's pretty cool. We've got Kazk and the Chaos Lord of Nurgle both on their Rotbeast mounts. They're going to have great stats, great armor piercing, a little bit of, Let's see what he's got in terms of his stuff. Looks like he brought quite a bit here. The Rot or Die leadership ability gives damage reflection as well. And then, of course, enemy debuff, self-buff with the Father of the Blades. And he did take the Icon of Eternal Virulence. Quite strong AoE debuff, especially once it gets up to stage 3. When stacked on with Poison, of course, which is universal. On Nurgle, to back them up, he's got the Rotting Riders. So very cool kind of leadership force here with that. And then yeah, is there a caster somewhere? Perhaps, maybe. No, that's interesting. We've got Pestigors out on the flanks here, in the center Nurglings, and then some Toads also, Barons of the Bog as well. So a couple of elite Regiment of Renowned cavalries here should be quite interesting. Rot flies up in the sky for Phoenix Kings, Tomb Kings, etc. the Imperishable, and a front line of skeleton warriors backed up by some skeleton spears, a couple of Shabti great bows. He's got some cavalry. It's the classic combined arms of the Tomb Kings. And let's see, these light skeleton horsemen going to throw themselves in here as a little mobile screen, perhaps. Maybe not. Looks like they're maybe pulling back. The Rot Flies came down, took a ton of damage on the approach, but a lot of that damage didn't go into the Rotting Riders, who are now going to try and engage here. Cetra in a little bit of danger, perhaps. Yeah, where is Kazk? He's somewhere in here. Still hanging around with the Chaos Lord. We see the Rotting Riders run in. Syrian's Incantation of Vengeance. Damage and speed debuff. More importantly, damage. Quite efficient damage at that. But Chaos Lord and his lieutenant here, yeah, they both move in. Going to do quite a bit of armor piercing damage, 2v1 as well, and then of course the anti-large of the Rotting Riders. So yeah, it's not a great situation for Cetra. Taking a look at the rest of the battlefield here, Barons of the Bog and Nurglings just crashing into Tomb Kings here. The Chosen of the Gods going to point blank range blast them and get some pretty good value doing it right now. I expect these forces will more or less just kind of wash. Both players have quite a bit of value dedicated here, but the important thing for Phoenix King is just to continue protecting his Shabti Greatbows as they fire into high-value engagements. He manages to extricate Cetra, even with Curse of the Slug active, gets some nice screening there, having to sacrifice more skeleton cavalry, but that's what they're here for, more or less, fighting against some quality Nurgle opponents. Chaos Lord does manage to somewhat get 3, but it kind of chooses a little rear charge here. Allows those Nehekara horsemen trying to take them down. The Plague Toads a little bit overextended into some skeleton spears. Are going to get taken down. Nurglings also slugging it out with skeletons. Absolute battle of the ages. Ooh, I see the Shabti summon popping out in the distance there. Going to get pulled up to try and win this pretty pitched battle on the opposite flank. Kind of interesting. Both players kind of opting for a weak center with these massive engagements on each flank right now. The Shabti Greatbows mostly safe, but here on the Nurgle left, the Rotting Riders starting to get free. Incantation of Vengeance, again, damage and speed debuff will kind of slow them as they run across the Chaos Plains here. Chaos home game, I guess, but yeah, the Tomb Kings. Shabti Greatbows going to stand in the pocket, deliver some shots downrange. The Rotting Riders, Kundity heal, tries to save them. The Skeleton Spears also kind of muddying up their pathing a little bit, but they do manage to land home on that unit of the Shabti Greatbows. The other two continuing to fire, but Cetra also pulling back kind of in a protecting position right now. Tomb Kings were able to largely win this, especially with that Shabti summon coming in, delivering some nice kind of value swing there. Barons of the Bog will continue to fight for some time. Looks like they might actually just pass straight through, try and bog down the Chosen of the Gods there, but Rotting Riders' leadership does break. Of course, they've got regeneration and plenty of healing available as well. I mean, no lore of magic, again, which still Definitely would have been better off to have some kind of magic for Nurgle, but hey, sometimes even in a tournament game you forget to take caster. I definitely have done that before. Nonetheless, Nurgle putting up a very strong performance so far. Balance of power, basically dead even. And Barons of the Bog are going to pop there. Tomb Kings have a decent force left. Some of these skeletons are going to crumble away. But none of this is particularly elite besides Cetra and Chosen of the Gods themselves. The Rotting Riders do come back. We're going to see a little Incantation of Vengeance on the Chaos Lord. Try and do whatever damage they can to him. The issue is that Cetra actually is not really a match at this point for the Chaos Lord, given the HP that he's lost. The Chaos Lord's got better stats all around, including weapon strength, which is pretty wild, to be honest, for like a horse-sized character. But still, let's see if the Rotting Riders can do it. They get in there. They're going to smash some more Shabti Greatbows, get rear charged by Skeleton Horsemen. Cetra moves in from the front, trying to just fight his win condition directly, which is definitely respectable. The question is, can he do it? Instead, the Rotting Riders actually gaining HP, if anything, because of the fecundity. They also get the Rot or Die as well, which delivers some extra damage to whatever's getting hits on them, which, yeah, the Horsemen were going to die anyway, but whatever hits they are getting are that much less effective. Shabti Greatbows did manage to get out, though. They take some damage, but not too much there. Chosen of the Gods also continuing to fire and messing up these Pestigors, which is great. The Pestigors get a decent speed. They could potentially threaten Chosen Gods better than some other infantry. But the Rotting Riders kind of caught up between both engagements. Some of their models not sure where to path exactly, but trying to get on these Shabti Greatbows. Cetra cycle charging in and out there. I don't know, whatever happened to Case? Did he just die in that engagement? Maybe Cetra just killed him. It's definitely possible. Oh no, he's over there. We're running around just mopping up some low-tier units, and honestly, Kazk and the Chaos Lord are going to be a pretty big problem for Tomb Kings to try and kill, unless they can get these Shabti Greatbows free and get some clean firing arcs at them. But even still, given they're relatively small single entities, could be tricky for the Shabti Greatbows to get clean firing solutions. But let's see. Once more, the Rotting Riders have been broken, and Tomb Kings don't have any mobility units left to try and chase them off. Nurgle did a good job of kind of silencing the rest of those. Been really nice to have just like Skeleton or Naggar Horsemen to get them out of here, but yeah, can't ask for too much more. Cetra comes in. He's going to try and get some more damage on the Chaos Lord. Getting a little bit of damage reflection there, but mostly just kind of losing in combat, as we established. This Chaos Lord is just a better combatant right now. And especially with all the stacking debuffs and everything, you see the Icon of Virulence, plus the poison. Cetra's weapon strength is just really in the dumps, plus the wounds too, of course, from being so damaged. Yeah, I mean, the poison and the Icon of Virulence stacking together is just absolutely brutal right now. He's like Elven Caster weapon strength. The Shabti Greatbows, you know, they can do a little bit maybe in a melee surround, but definitely would rather be firing from long range. Chosen of the Gods don't have any ammunition left, so they are now having to fight melee as well. And Nurgle, despite having no caster, I guess didn't need it at all, just relying on the army ability here and the raw power of the Rot Beast mounts. That's pretty crazy, honestly. It's a pretty interesting build, I have to say. Unusual for sure. And Nurgle's an interesting faction to be using early on. They are a faction that certain matchups, they can be just incredibly painful to deal with. So it is one, in my opinion, it's an interesting choice to take early on, but General Spotify here manages to take the win from Phoenix King, going up 1-2-0 on the series. Of course, these are best of 3 series, and once each player has used this faction, they cannot use them again throughout the tournament. So again, there's sort of some strategy about what faction do you want to take when, especially in the early rounds. I don't even remember exactly how the picking rules worked, if there was any sort of, like, if it was just maybe blind picks or submitted beforehand or what exactly, but regardless, yeah, the Rotting Riders, the Lord of Nurgle, and Kazk, just absolute heroes here for the Plague side. And Yeah, not a lot else really to say across the build. I mean, I guess the pest cores come in, do mop up some pretty good value on skeletons. They're going to trade fairly well into those low-tier troops. Even one of them actually pays for themselves, which is pretty nice. Shop to Great Bows on the opposite side, pretty solid. Didn't quite get enough value to really go over the top. And Cetra himself just had a really, really hard time. I don't know. I have to think about, like, horse characters for Tomb Kings. What kind of answers you would have for that? I mean, I guess take Lore of Death, but against Nurgle, that's going to be a little bit less efficient, like just trying to Spirit Leech them down from something like Arcane the Black. You know, you do have your own nobles, or what are they, the Tomb Princes for the Tomb Kings, obviously, but, yeah. But they do have some anti-large horse-mounted characters. I don't know, I still think they probably just lose on stats. We can do some quick comparisons after the fact, but rest of the Tomb Kings here, yeah. I mean, skeletons just getting plowed, but also skeletons getting overvalued. The spears actually all got really nice value, to be honest. All things considered, and granted they were fighting some healing large, and just, you know, the demon units here definitely kind of fed the spears some value in that way. But yeah, overall, pretty decent build from the Tomb Kings. I can't really criticize too much, but interesting. I have to let's do some quick stat comparisons and think about this, you know, as sort of a yeah, just a thought exercise, I guess. I guess we need to actually go to Nurgle. Kazk is not on the Warriors roster. Yeah, Kazk. I didn't actually check 100% what he had, but yeah, 20% ward save at first. I don't know. It might have just been fully cheap kit for him, to be honest. But then, yeah, the Lord of Nurgle with the Rot Beast mount, relatively cheap. And what did he have there? We saw the Rot or Die. I think, did he have the Paragon of Decay as well? That's probably what the -1 from Other was. And then, yeah, basically had a full kit, more or less. Maybe didn't have Deadly Onslaught, but still, 2,000 points is a decent amount. I mean, you're definitely, like, on par with some other monstrous kind of combat characters, non-caster characters. But Cetra, obviously, being a caster character, is quite expensive. Even his base cost without any spells on the War Sphinx is 2,200, so from a value perspective, this is a terrible trade. The one thing is, obviously, that Cetra has a lot more HP from the start, but the stat difference here is pretty substantial. I mean, you're looking at a 20 difference in melee attack, more than 20 on both melee attack and melee defense, extra 50 weapon strength on the Chaos Lord, so, you know, often HP is one of the biggest determining factors, but especially with stats, with that much of a disparity in stats, I should say, you know, other factors that can pull away HP from Cetra, like even kind of sacrificing, in many ways, the Rotting Riders, although they did get great value in and of themselves, can't really call them a sacrifice, but yeah, armor-piercing, anti-large, high speed, and pressure Ushabti Great Bows, really nice addition here. And then, yeah, I'd probably honestly just swap out Barons the Bog for a caster, and this build seems like it has some really, really nasty teeth, to be honest, into the Tomb Kings. But on the opposite side here, let's think about, again, the response. Arcane the Black, yeah, I feel like oftentimes against heavy healing factions, Spirit Leeching single entities with any reasonable amount of HP, which 6,000 is definitely a pretty solid amount. Definitely can sometimes feel like just peeing into the wind, for a lack of a better phrase. Like, it's not really going to do a lot other than just be kind of stinky, but I don't know. I guess obviously if they don't have a caster, healing's maybe a little bit more limited. You could definitely get some good value out of that. In terms of characters who could actually fight that in combat, Khalida has pretty good stats, and I've actually been seeing Khalida a little bit more lately, which is pretty interesting. She's probably the one character who, yeah, I mean, she has pretty pure stats. The Chaos Lord also, in terms of cost, like if we take all the abilities down, I think she's, yeah, a little bit cheaper as well. So that's one potential way you could go about fighting this, is take like Khalida, plus maybe the Tomb Prince to back her up. He's got Guardian for some physical resistance. I believe, yeah, both these characters have no magic attacks. It wouldn't help against the Rotting Riders. That is something to be aware of. But he also can take Curse of Jah for Rampage, which situationally could be pretty good if you have an extra 100 gold. I mean, he does have to take some damage to be able to even use this. So a little bit situational, but Ooh, Blade of Setep. I don't think anything here has physical resistance that you really need to worry about. But yeah, 750 for him, or sorry, 950 on the horse. It's got decent anti-large. The stats are really not great, though, in comparison. Like, Kaysk is going to eat his lunch all day. For the most part, you could get some hits on it, but yeah, Kaysk's just more of everything at that point. So, you know, this might not work great, but you had an Elich Priest of Death here for that extra little Spirit Leech chip damage, and maybe something like this, you could fight this Death Squad. Or, you know, obviously you have bigger anti-large tools, but not really a fan of the Necro Sphinx. I think that it has kind of some issues, but that's it for today. I'm getting a little bit long-winded, but thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you want to see some more excellent tournament action, be sure to tune in, subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.